Chapter 28. The Fire Cult. The fire cult from ancient Persia was grandiose. The fire cult is very ancient. It is said this cult predates the Achaemenid dynasty and Zoroaster's epic. Persian priests possessed a very rich esoteric liturgy related with the fire cult. The ancient Persian sages never neglected the fire. They had the mission of always keeping it alight. The secret doctrine of Avesta states that there are different types of fire: the fire of lightning that flashes in the terrible night, the one that works inside the human organism producing calories and directing the processes of digestion, the one that is concentrated in the innocent plants of nature, the fire that smolders within the mountains and is spewed out by Earth's volcanoes, the one in the presence of Ahura Mazda forming his divine halo, and the everyday fire the profane used to cook their food. The Persians used to say that, in cases when boiling water is spilled, or when a living being is burned, God has ceased the benefits he granted unto his privileged people. Indeed, fire has many modifications, but of all the fires, the most powerful is the one that blazes in the presence of Ahura Mazda, the solar logos, forming his divine halo. That fire is the result of transmutation of the sexual secretions. That fire is the Kundalini, the igneous serpent of our magical powers, the fire of the Holy Spirit. Whoever wants to find the fire of Ahura Mazda must search for it within the interior of his philosophical earth. This earth is the human organism itself. Persian priests cultivated this fire in places of complete darkness, subterranean temples, and secret places. The altar was always an enormous metal chalice with its base upon the philosopher's stone. The fire was always nourished with fragrant and dry wood, especially the delectable branches of sandalwood. The old priests always blew upon the fire with bellows so as not to profane it with the sinful breath of the human mouth. Fill your chalice with the sacred wine of light. Remember, dear reader, that the secret and philosophical living fire blazes within your own philosophical earth. Now you will comprehend the occult mystery of the ritual of fire. Two priests always tended the fire. Here we have the binary. They each used tongs to lay the wood chips, and a spoon to scatter the perfumes on them. There were, then, 2 tongs and 2 spoons. In all this, we can see the binary. With this, we can see that only the number 2 can tend the fire. It is necessary that man and woman, in perfect binary, light and care for Ahura Mazda's divine fire. In the Bundahishan, a kind of ritual gospel, it is stated that a well of sacred water was in a special chamber where the priest performed ablutions in advance of presenting himself before the altar of fire. Only the one who drinks the pure water of life can light the fire. Only the one who washes his feet in the waters of renunciation can light the fire. Only the one who conserves the water can ritualize with the fire. That water symbolizes the ens seminis. Archaeological ruins, of complex temples and antechambers where the fire was worshipped, exist everywhere in Persia. These ruins can be found today in Persepolis, Isfahan, Yazd, Palmyra, Susa, etc. Fire is terribly divine. Fire must never be absent from the homes of those who follow the path of perfect matrimony. A candle lit with profound devotion is always equivalent to a prayer, and it attracts a tremendous flow of divine energy from above. Every prayer to the Logos must be accompanied by fire. Thus, the prayer is powerful. The time has arrived to return to the cult of fire. Gnostics must journey to the mountains and, there within the profound bosom of Mother Nature, build bonfires, light the fire, and pray and meditate. In this way we can attract powerful currents of divine energy from above that will help us in the great work of the Father. The human being must light his 49 fires by means of sexual magic. Thus, when our thoughts are aflame, we can create like the ineffable gods of the cosmos. The holy gods are true ministers of fire. The holy gods are tongues of flaming fire. The whirling dervishes. The sacred dances of the whirling dervishes in Persia, as well as in Turkey, etc., constitute a fire cult. It's a shame that the authorities of Ankara, boasting of much civilization, have prohibited the public dances of the whirling dervishes. The dervishes marvelously imitate movement of the solar system's planets around the sun. The dances of the dervishes are intimately related with the spine and the sexual fires. We must never forget that the serpent enjoys music and dance, as Egyptian and Indian snake charmers have already demonstrated. They play their marvelous flutes, and the enchanted serpents dance. It is now opportune to remember the ritual fire dances from all the ancient temples. Let's remember the naked dances of the Eleusinian mysteries, the sacred dancers of India, Egypt, Mexico, Yucatan, etc. When the Akashic records fall into the hands of scientists, and the whole world can watch the fire dances of archaic times on television, we will return to those dances, which will inevitably replace the profane dances. Egyptian darkness. A few years ago, some monks of bad faith from the Athos monastery, famous in Greece and Russia, dedicated themselves to selling Egyptian darkness in bottles, making a great deal of money out of it. It is absurd to sell Egyptian darkness as black powder in bottles. The reality of Egyptian darkness cannot be sold as black powder. Egyptian darkness is an archaic, allegorical phrase. When the Egyptians covered themselves with their mantle and closed their eyes to the physical world, they remained in darkness to the world but in splendorous light to the spirit. Nowadays, there are many sages within the Egyptian darkness. Nevertheless, they shine with the sacred fire in Amun-Ra. There are many Egyptian sages who were buried alive in a state of catalepsy. They sleep soundly in their tombs until the day and hour they must awaken according to the plans of the White Lodge. There is one whose body has been asleep since 3,000 years before the time of Jesus Christ. Another has been sleeping since 10,000 years before Jesus Christ, and so on. They sleep, their bodies lie in Egyptian darkness, nevertheless, their souls live consciously in the superior worlds, working intensely for humanity. When the right day and hour arrives, each of these adepts will be assisted by their brothers and sisters. They will be taken out of their sepulchral home and awakened. These Egyptian adepts will initiate a new era of spiritual activity. They conserve within their memory all the archaic knowledge. It is interesting to know that the bodies of these adepts, duly bandaged and protected in their funerary caskets, sleep without eating or drinking. All their organic functions are in suspension. Strange and mysterious chemical substances protect them. Formidable, elemental guardians guard their tombs, and no archaeologist will find them. To leave the tomb after thousands of years, to maintain oneself without eating or drinking for so many centuries, is only possible with the fire cult, with the power of the fire. All these adepts practice sexual magic intensely. Only the serpent of fire can give the adept these kinds of tremendous powers. Java. In the Hall of Memories, the Akasha, the history of that angel named Java is written. Saturninus of Antioch, the great Kabbalist, states that Java is a fallen angel, evil genie, the devil. Java is a terribly perverse demon. Java is that demon who tempted Christ in the wilderness, and took him to the mountain to say, Itababo, all these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me. Java called the Jewish people, my chosen people. The Jews have intentionally confused Java with the Lord Jehovah. Java was a Lemurian hierophant. Java had a priestess wife. Java was an angel with a human body. Master Java was a warrior of the light, a great priest of the ray of force, and due to his high priestly dignity, he had the legitimate right to use helmet, armor, shield, and sword made of pure gold. The priestess wife of Java was by all means a lady adept. In archaic times, the warrior and priestly castes developed independently of each other. Nevertheless, there were exceptions, as in the case of Java, who was both priest and warrior. The Lucifers of the ancient Earth Moon floated within the Lemurian atmosphere. These Lucifers were searching for proselytes, and they found them. Java was one of their proselytes. Java became a disciple of those tenebrous sublunar beings, and practiced black sexual magic with spilling of the cup of Hermes. This is the science of the red-cap Ban and Drukpa. The result was fatal. His igneous serpent fell. It descended toward the atomic infernos of man, and Java became a terribly perverse demon. This history is described in the Akasha. Java became a member of a Lemurian temple of Black Tantra. His priestess wife never accepted sexual magic with spilling of the cup of Hermes. Java fell with another woman. The efforts Java made to convince his priestess wife were useless. She didn't want to enter the Black Temple. That marriage ended. The Lady Adept did not want to enter the Black Path. Now, this Lady Adept is an ineffable angel of the superior worlds. The fire cult is very delicate. The gods of fire help protect all those who follow the path of perfect matrimony. The ages of the world. Division of humanity's history into gold, silver, copper, and iron ages is a tremendous reality. The planetary fire involutes and evolves, passing through the above-mentioned stages. There is no doubt the fire of our planet Earth has produced very little profit in the 3 preceding rounds, and on the ancient Earth Moon. This fire is full of karma. That is the cause for the failure of humanity on the planet Earth. Cycles unfold alternately. An age of great mystical inspiration and unconscious productivity is followed by another of tremendous criticism and self-consciousness. One provides the material for analysis and criticism of the other. In the field of spiritual conquests, Buddha and Jesus represent the highest conquests of the spirit. Alexander of Macedonia and Napoleon the Great represent conquests in the physical world. These figures were reproductions made by the fire, reproductions of human types that existed 10,000 years before. Images reflected from the previous 10th millennium were reproduced by the mysterious powers of the fire. As above, so below. That which has been will come again. As things are in heaven, so are they on earth. If the fire of our planet Earth had totally developed on the ancient Earth Moon, and in the 3 preceding rounds, our Earth would be a true paradise at this time of our life. Unfortunately, our planetary fire is full of cosmic karma. The great problem. The whole of humanity, the sum total of all human units, is Adam Kadmon, the human lineage Homo sapiens, the Sphinx, in other words, the being with the body of an animal and the head of man. The human being participates as a component part in many lives, great and small. The family, community, religion, country are living beings of which we form a part. Within us there are many unknown lives, many eyes that quarrel among themselves, and many eyes that are unknown to each other. All of them live within man, just as man and all mankind live within the great spiritual body of Adam Kadmon. These eyes live within man. Just like man and all mankind live in cities, towns, and religious congregations, etc. Just as all inhabitants of a city do not know each other, so too, the eyes that live within the city of 9 gates, man, do not know each other. This is the big problem. So-called man does not yet have a true existence. Man is still an unrealized being. Man is similar to a house occupied by many people. Man is like a ship on which many passengers, many eyes, travel. Each eye has its ideals, its projects, desires, etc. The eye that is enthusiastic about the work in the magisterium of the fire is later displaced by another eye that hates the work, and if the aspirant began to work in the forge of Vulcan with much enthusiasm, we later see him disillusioned, leaving the work, and seeking refuge in any little school that offers him consolation. Even later, another eye intervenes to take him out of there, too. That is the biggest problem. Furthermore, there are tenebrous visitors inside man. Just like many people enter a city, including people who are unpleasant, individuals with bad habits, so too is this unfortunate tragedy repeated in the city of 9 gates, man. Tenebrous inhabitants who suggest evil ideas and stimulate animal desires enter this city. Unfortunately, man is 97% subconscious, and indeed he is unaware of all that happens in his interior. When these tenebrous inhabitants totally control the human brain, man does things he would not normally do even for all the money in the world. Therefore, it is not strange that even saints have raped and murdered in one of those fatal moments. The magisterium of the fire is extremely difficult due to the quantity of invisible people who inhabit and visit the city of 9 gates. Each of these mysterious people, each of these eyes, thinks differently and has its own customs. Now we can understand the many problems in a home. The man who today is enthusiastic about a woman, tomorrow abandons her. The woman who today is loyal to her husband, tomorrow goes off with another man. That is the big problem. In the human psyche, there is a continuous change of perspective from one object to another. Within the mind, there is a continuous film of impressions, events, feelings, desires, etc., and each of these things perfectly defines the I of a given moment. Many people live in the city of 9 gates. That is what is so serious. That is the big problem. The fire cult is very difficult because many people live in the city of 9 gates who hate that cult. The physical body is only one section of the tetradimensional body, the lingam sarira, or vital body. The human personality is, in turn, another tetradimensional section of the human body. Beyond this is the ego, the pluralized I, like an upper section of the human personality. The personality dies, however, its memory remains in the ego. The poor intellectual animal still knows nothing about the soul and the spirit. It is still very far from the common level of humanity. The body, the personality, and the ego are still unknown to each other because the human being is subconscious. The man of the common level knows even less about the soul and the spirit. In fact, the 3 inferior aspects of the human being, body, personality, and ego, can only know each other under the influence of narcotics, or in a trance, or in mediumistic or hypnotic states, or during sleep, or through ecstasy. Man is the mystery of the Sphinx. The animal with a human head is man. So long as one has not yet resolved the problem of the Sphinx, one can fall into the abyss of perdition. Everyone who is working in the magisterium of the fire must beg daily to his Father who is in secret for a lot of help. It is urgent to appeal to our inner God to repeat within our inner consciousness the miracle accomplished by Jesus when he expelled the merchants from the temple with the terrible whip of willpower. Only the Beloved can expel those intrusive eyes from the temple of our consciousness. Those merchants of the temple sabotage the great work. It's those villains who extinguish the fires of the temple. That is the big problem. Indeed, this is the path of the razor's edge. This path is full of dangers, within and without. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22 verse 14. The Four Gospels. The Four Gospels are intimately related with the magisterium of the fire. It is absurd to interpret the Four Gospels literally. The Gospels are completely symbolic. The birth in the manger of Bethlehem symbolizes the Venusic initiation. Christ is always born in the stable of man, among the animals of desire, in order to save the world. The star the wise men saw is seen by all mystics during ecstasy. That star is the central sun, the Christ sun, formed by the army of the voice. It is the star that announces the initiation. It is the star that guides the devotees of the fire. Initiation always begins with the miracle of Cana, transmuting the water of life into the wine of light of the alchemists. That miracle is performed in the perfect matrimony. We have to raise the igneous serpent of our magical powers up to the Golgotha of the Father, the brain. In the magisterium of the fire, the true devotee has to live the whole drama of initiation. The Four Gospels are written in code, and only initiates can understand them. The Hierophant Jesus was not the first who lived the drama of the Passion, nor was he the last. This drama has been lived by all those who have Christified themselves. Whoever investigates the sacred scriptures of all the archaic religions will discover with astonishment that this drama existed many millions of years before Jesus Christ. All the great avatars lived the same drama of the Passion. They occupied the place of Jesus. The great Master of Perfection lived the whole drama as it is written, but we must not interpret the Four Gospels literally. Let's remember that the town of Bethlehem did not even exist in the time of Jesus. The Four Gospels constitute a practical guide for the devotees of the fire cult. Those who do not know the Arcanum A Zeta F cannot comprehend the Four Gospels of fire. The Mother Kundalini. Christ is always the son of the Divine Mother Kundalini. She always conceives her son through the work and grace of the third Logos. She is always virginal, before birth, during birth, and after birth. Among the Egyptians, the Virgin is Isis. Among the Hindu, Kali, in her positive aspect. Among the Aztecs, Tenantzin. She is Rhea, Cybele, Maria, Adonia, Insoberta, etc. It would be impossible to incarnate the Word without the development, evolution, and progress of Kundalini. This prayer is written in a Gnostic ritual. O Hadit, winged serpent of light, you are the Gnostic secret of my being, the central point of my connection. The sacred sphere and the blue of the sky are mine. O Kakov Na Kongsa. Worshippers of the fire, priest and priestess, can use this prayer during the practice of sexual magic. The mantras of this prayer have the power to sublimate the sexual energies, the Heil of the Gnostics, to the heart. When the initiate invokes the Divine Mother Kundalini, either to help him place his physical body into the jinn state, or for any other miracle of high magic, she appears as a most pure virgin, as a most adorable mother. In her are represented all of our beloved mothers from all our reincarnations. Mother Kundalini is the snake of fire that rises through the medullary canal. We need to be swallowed by the snake. We need to be transformed into the snake itself. Those pseudo-esotericists who suppose the serpent awakens completely and totally developed are very mistaken. The Kundalini needs to develop, evolve, and progress until it reaches its complete development. Sex should help the Kundalini. The Kundalini should help sex. We must not abuse sex or the Kundalini. The seven serpents have their marvelous double in the seven serpents of light. First the fire, then the Brahmanic splendor of the Venusic initiation. We first need to climb the septenary scale of fire, and then the septenary scale of light. We first need to resurrect in the fire, and then in the light. The Divine Mother Kundalini, with the golden child of sexual alchemy in her loving arms, guides us through the formidable path of the razor's edge. Our adorable Isis, whose veil no mortal has lifted, can forgive all of our past karma if we really repent for all of our errors. The serpent of fire totally transforms us. The serpent converts us into tremendously divine gods of the cosmos.